Well, this weekend is the Soweto Derby weekend, believe it or not, but there's this eerily quiet feeling around the game, considered to be the biggest game in the South African football calendar. You could argue the sporting calendar as a whole. And I'm joined by the CEO of the National Football Supporters Association, NAFSA, that's Siyabulela Loyilane, joining me at the moment to talk about how exactly they're hoping to revive this game. We know the supporters are not exactly allowed into the stadiums by the Premier Soccer League at the moment. Government, a while ago, a few months ago, allowed about 2,000 spectators into the stadiums, but still, to this day, we have not seen supporters back since March of 2020, so exactly 2 years ago. Sia, thank you so much for your time. You will be, along with the rest of your NAFSA colleagues and other fans, be picketing at the Orlando Stadium, outside the Orlando Stadium, rather, this coming weekend. Is that what it's called? Is it a picket, a march? What is it?
Good morning, Benjamin, and good morning to all the viewers at home, especially to the football loyalists out there. And yes, we will be having a protest march at Orlando Stadium this coming Saturday. It is also a follow-up to basically the campaign that is NAFSA we launched in terms of trying to put pressure to get supporters back into the stadium, because also now the pressure has been mounting due to the fact that we have seen scenes of other sporting codes actually having supporters at the stadium, and as it stands, it's only football that actually cannot go back to the stadium.
Well, why particularly this game? There's been a whole lot of games happening throughout the country since the first picket that happened in Pretoria.
Well, particularly this game, because one, as supporters, we decided that let us take football back to where it started, which is at the soccer field. And why not choose the Soweto Derby, which is the biggest game and also watched by the whole world, to be able to air out our grievances and for everyone to see and bring the visibility to the fact that supporters are still not allowed to go back to the stadium. So in our march this coming Saturday, we had even written to the PSL, SAFA, and the Ministry of Sports to actually receive memorandum from the supporters in light of this situation. And I can say that yesterday, the NAFSA delegation actually was afforded an opportunity to meet with the chairman of the PSL and the CEO, in which we sat down with them in terms of mapping out a way forward. But as it stands, PSL has indicated that they are ready and welcome to receive our memorandum on Saturday.
They're welcome. They are ready to receive your memorandum on Saturday. They're not ready to open for fans? Well,
to open for fans, it's also, we are going to be giving them 10 days to respond to us. But in those discussions that we had with the PSL, we actually did touch even on the issue that as NAFSA, we recognize their efforts that they have shown to us in terms of trying to get supporters to the stadium, even though that a lot could still have been done in terms of at least opening for the number 2,000. Then we actually work together in pushing for a bigger number in the different authorities. And we are still demanding that stadiums should be opened at 50% capacity minimum with immediate effect. And those are part of, or that is part and parcel of what the memorandum will be addressing. And we basically just calling South Africans to come through, to come and share their frustrations. But I want to stress that this is going to be a peaceful protest, because we don't want to cause damage to property and all those things, because this is the same property that we want to go back to. So we wouldn't want anything that is untoward that will ensure that there is a further delay for supporters to be going back to the stadium.
Yeah, Sia, As a representative of the supporters, there's a whole lot of football fans sitting at home frustrated. They have been for the past 2 years, but now especially because legally the PSL is allowed to have supporters in stadiums. What is word from the PSL? You met with the PSL yesterday. What are they saying is the issue?
Well, some of the things that were cited, which as the national football supporters, we've actually cited it in the past to say that we need to understand from the ministry what the number 2000 or how the number 2000 came about in terms of gradually opening the stadiums. And from their side, the biggest issue with the number 2000 has got to do with the financial implications that it goes into preparing a game just for 2,000 supporters as opposed to a percentage capacity at a stadium. So, but as NAFSA, we are saying that still open for the 2,000 and then let us work together for the minimum 50% capacity and ultimately 100% capacity.
Are they then heeding that request that, okay, still open for the 2,000? What's their response?
Well, I think their response will be after the memorandum, but this is what we have stipulated. And also we have stipulated the issue of working relations, which they have welcomed in order to advance the agenda of supporters as well, and even look at supporter education and ensuring that supporters are taken through the process, because also our biggest cry in this whole period has been around the issue that everything that happens behind closed doors, and supporters are never really taken in confidence in terms of what measures are being put in place to ensuring that supporters can go back to the stadium.
Yeah. Speaking of them responding after the memorandum, the minister, we spoke to the minister a couple of weeks ago here on the channel, and he, in no uncertain terms, said, well, he dismissed the march or picket you had earlier this year alongside political party EFF, and the reason was that you did not even submit a memorandum. What's your response to this?
You know what? I find that very interesting in a sense that prior to that picket to the EFF, I did sit in those meetings with the people from the department, and the DG was initially going to be the one receiving the memorandum, but then the script changed on the day of the picket, and we were told that there was a COVID case at the Ministry of Sports, hence there was no one in the building, was closed because of COVID. But after that, we were then requested to send the initial memorandum that we were going to send to the ministry via an email, and it was acknowledged. And also we have had a few other discussions that were not really formal to say what is going on, and certain promises were made to say, can we be patient a little bit, something is going to happen, and all that. But also that's why now as NAFSA, we then decided that with the previous picket, it was more politically associated.
Sia, I've got to go, but in one word, what's the date? What do you demand? When should the supporters come back? Date.
5 of March, Orlando Stadium, we are gathering at 11 o'clock, and then afterwards we are marching around Orlando Stadium, and then at 1 o'clock we'll be handing over the different memorandums. All
right, Siyabulela Loyilane, the acting CEO of NAFSA, they will be going to the Orlando Stadium outside before the Soweto Derby this coming Saturday.